Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me for episode 121 of The Green Life. We just started last week, and I didn't want to do an introduction from the break before sharing the episode with Gary because it was so powerful. And I thought, you know what a way to just start the new series. And so I hope you enjoyed it. It was a two-part episode, quite long. I'm not going to make this super long, but I want to give you a little bit of a summary of everything and some news. So I am super excited that we are starting to record the Green Life again. And together with the Green Life, I have also started a new podcast called Cycles Wellness, which is also the new brand I am transforming and moving Lively into. I mentioned before on social media that I was actually keen to perhaps stop the Green Life and move everything to Cycles. But after thinking about it, I want the conversations that we're having on the Green Life to continue because they're applicable to more people. They are more about health and wellness for the general population, men and women, and Cycles will be solely dedicated to women, which of course you gentlemen are welcome to listen to and learn about us women, which will help you a lot in life. But that's going to be more targeted. And the reason is there is a lot of noise online about our transitions from perimenopause all the way forward and beyond. And there is a lot of confusion because unfortunately we live in the era of social media where everything is short format, and the people are just not able to pay attention. However, podcasts are growing, and so there is definitely a calling, a yearning for long format and discussions that are much more interesting than just the 90-second videos. So I'm very, very excited that this is happening, but also because if you have been with me for a while on the Green Life, you know that I always talk about my journey, and actually the Green Life was a way of therapy for me. Now, I have shared bits and bobs about what's going on in my life in a few episodes and my relationships with my family, and there are some updates on all fronts. So I'm going to take the opportunity here to share a bit. And the first thing is, I have come to learn that people are not always happy when you share your own journey, especially if they are involved in your life. So that's mostly family and sometimes friends, depending. But in my case, family mostly, because they feel that when I share, it's an attack on them. And it took me a long time and with therapy to learn that this is nothing to do with me. Unfortunately, people take things personally when they're not working on themselves. And I know because I've taken things personally when the truth is whatever was triggering me is because there was a note of truth. And of course, is one thing is if somebody's just defaming you and saying things that are not true, and you get hurt because why would they say that? But I never said things that were not true. I shared my experience and my experience of people in my life, my parents mostly, my siblings, and of course it disturbs them that I share it online, and I became the bad person, um, the bad guy for doing so. But I am not going to allow anyone really to just mute me and just dim my voice and my light, because I'm here for a purpose. And I know one thing, every time I've shared episodes that were personal, people always wrote to me and they were so excited and happy that I shared because they felt alone going through the same thing. I always make a caveat when I speak about these things, though. Even though I realize my parents have certain traits that I didn't appreciate or liked, I still don't. I I always talked about why in my learning and opinion and understanding they were in a certain way. And just like them, I recognize these patterns and these things because I went through them myself, where between, I'm going to say 2018 or 2019 to 2023, I wasn't my best self. I'm going to say that period of time, but actually, when I look back, I wasn't my best self before as well. Like, I think the truth is I wasn't living my authenticity because I wasn't sure about what I wanted, what that meant for me to want something. I wasn't sure. And since then, I learned that the problem was that being a parentified child as I was, you don't have a sense of self really. You grow up thinking you are something that maybe naturally is not you. And only now I'm learning what that is. Only in my 40s, I have experienced that womanhood, that personality, that steadiness, and even when, if I speak to my parents and I bring this up, I can see that just they always will see me with a certain pair of eyes, and that's okay. But I don't see myself that way anymore, nor do I look at them the same way anymore. And I think because I grew up having my mom on a pedestal, she was my everything, and I victimized her in a way. I felt like she was the victim. I had her in a position, and then when that illusion crumbled down, everything came unfolding, as I shared in other episodes. Likewise with my dad, it took me a long time to just accept who he is and not expect more, because he's just not able. Is just not able. Like, it's someone that you just take at face value, is he's the best that he can ever be because he doesn't work on himself. And I think you can't expect someone to be better if they don't want to do the work. This is equally um true for everybody, really, every person on the planet. So that understanding allowed me just to accept them better. Now, I always talk about the kind of relationships I want with my family, and it is something very hard here because never felt very connected to my family as family. I'm trying to just remember, like there are times that of course, like you're close to someone because you know them so well, but realistically speaking, I just never felt that family bond that I see other people have. And I'm so happy with people that have it. And I'm so happy actually to see my friends who have little children and how they have the relationship with these children and how they also have the relationship with their partner. Because as a consequence of me not knowing what I wanted, meaning not putting the things that I wanted up front, I also compromised on what I thought I deserved from a relationship. And I was pretty lucky in the sense that, Kyle and I had a beautiful relationship for a long time, really. But I was always the one that had to compromise to make things work and make him happy. And up to this day, he still hasn't gotten to a point where he understands what I'm talking about, where I come from, what my needs are. And there is always blaming and a little bit of unforgiveness, I think. But um, I don't take it personal because it's just is where he is, right? And maybe one day will not be. They will be in a better place and understand what I'm saying now. And I hope he does, because even if we moved on to another relationship, these problems that we had will come up again. This is what I tell him, but he's not ready to listen. So we have, my life has transitioned a lot. Like in the last 3 years, I have been a bit of a nomad in terms of where I live and conditions that I live in, and they're not bad conditions, but in the sense of the comfort that I gave up for the freedom that I thought I needed, not that I thought, that I knew I needed. Um, I learned that my some family members have of course made me the bad guy, even about leaving my relationship, walking away, separating, because they thought that I was just being ungrateful. That was very disappointing, but also not surprising. So it's fine. I let it go. I didn't even open the conversation with them. Um, you know, I always believe one thing: facts speak for themselves eventually. So time really shows everything. And so we can pretend and we can have opinions. The point is that also, I feel like we should be aware that our opinions are not gospel or facts, that our opinions are biased opinions, and that realistically speaking, as I record this, maybe in 3 months' time, my opinion of certain things will be very different. In fact, my opinion of certain things has changed since the first episode, for the first recording where I spoke about myself. And I had the opportunity in this time to, as I said, do therapy, and I actually reached out to someone in my family to apologize to her, um, because I involuntarily think because I was in so much survival mode, surviving, and yeah, I was just not in a good place. I truly had what can I say, my wires crossed. So things like that are still going on though, and it's not a quick process. Like even separation, you go through separation and you actually think, okay, this is a good thing, and then there are moments where you rethink, am I doing the right thing? Am I making a mistake? Is it me? I mean, am I just unable to be happy? Like all these questions came up. And the reason why I started therapy actually was because Kyle forced me to, in a way. He said that I was mentally unstable. And when he said therapy, I was like, you know what? I love this idea, but you coming with me. And when I spoke to the therapist, who was a referral, and I explained everything to her, actually, the first thing she said to me is like, she was speechless, and she's like, okay, I am not even sure how to bill you for this because I normally ask questions because people are confused. You are like so methodical, organized in your thoughts. Like, you know, why are you here? And then I explained to her that the reason is because Kyle wanted for me to go and see her because I had been on the pill for a very long time, 12 years, and he read somewhere that the pill changes your brain. Now, I have to say, and this is an episode for Cycle Wellness podcast, but the pill does change your brain, and changes everything, your microbiome, everything. So there are many side effects to the pill. And one of the things that was actually found out in research is that when you stop the pill, some women will even change their attraction to their partner. And to me, I think, I mean, I don't know if I honestly don't know if that happened. I didn't notice that happening per se. But what I did notice is that, and I don't know if it's connected to the pill, but I certainly noticed things changing. I mean, I was sick as well. Like I had type 2 diabetes and adrenal fatigue. My hormones were tanked. I felt super stressed. I felt like the world was spinning in directions that I cannot even tell you. Then I I questioned everything I knew, thinking that I was wrong, and I hopped on this wagon of probably a little bit of dogmatic approach to everything, including our faith. And I started parroting a lot of the things that Kyle was saying because really for the peace. Because when I wasn't, we were fighting all the time, and I was just so tired and exhausted. Actually, I had no energy to really do this. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna follow. And having this hum in the back of our mind that the world was coming to an end, that COVID was the proof of it. I mean, I started believing things, and now I look back and I'm like, the world has definitely changed and come to the end of what it was, which saddens me terribly in many ways. But I also see the opportunity and the beauty to change things, which is what I'm actually working on now. I'll share in a minute. Um, but equally, we became isolated. We lived in fear, but at the same time, shielded that fear with the knowledge that, God is going to come and save us. And I don't know, I just started studying Kabbalah after I left, and in a way that was different to what, Kyle studies or how he studies. And there are so many things that just started breaking down. I cannot even explain everything here. It's not the time. One day I will probably share it, but let's just say that we lived like we were in a cult, and I think in a way still is connected to people that maybe make him behave like he's in a cult. And not everything is wrong or false, or not of it actually. There's so much truth. But I also think the way that we approach things now and how we behave and how we construct and build has a massive impact. I mean, we are not forever beings. We are very actually endurable. Like if we now we're making it a little bit longer with the help of science and medication and hygiene and you name it. But we are really fragile. I could walk outside and die and then what? So I just started needing to have a purpose that was bigger than me believing that I could just give up about the world and I was going to be saved. That just didn't fill my heart. I was so depressed. I felt like I never used the word depressed before, but actually I think I was. I mean, I just know that I didn't laugh for 4 years. I didn't laugh from my belly. Like I'm someone that laughed. And when I laughed, let me tell you, people laugh too because my laughter is so funny apparently. But I didn't. I didn't laugh for 4 years, if not more. Coming here was very stressful. There was a lot going on. I had to deal with a patriarchal society and men that think that because you're a woman, they can talk to you the way they want and not do what they say they do and not respect, deadlines. Plus culturally, I mean, Portuguese and deadlines, they're not German. So, that it's another thing. In the UK, I felt like things work a little bit better because it's such a melting pot of people that really you push. I mean, there's everything in the UK. Even the Portuguese there are super punctual, super like active and productive because they have to cope with the system. Here, everything is slow, so everybody is slower. And so, you kind of adapt to. I wasn't adapting because I wasn't living here. I just knew that this builder was not doing what he was saying that he would do, that he would talk to me in a very disrespectful way. Um, it took too much. He made it like we were friends and we were not friends. I'm like, I'm your customer. And, you know, so um, it became a bit of a battle, which I was doing alone. And the excuse was, yeah, but I don't speak the language. But there was no support and understanding. And then I was even told, oh, you complain all the time about it. Well, it's stressful. Like I have to go to court. I'm like, of course I'm complaining about it because I'm alone in this. Then my brother was living with us, and then my sister came to live with us. I shared this before. Like it was a lot of people, and I couldn't process anything. My relationship wasn't going well with Kyle, but I was really pushing it to make it work, to be the wife that I had to be, whatever that means. And truthfully, I just couldn't anymore. When I started getting better, the clarity started coming back. And for once, I was like, wow, I never asked myself what I want. And I actually wasn't even asked what I want. When I was sick, I got all the gaslighting in the world. I'm still getting it. And I'm like, I am tired of it. I'm done. I'm done. So, and it's incredible how you really have to make those changes. And the truth is, I would have hoped for Kyle to maybe wake up and think, okay, what is my part in this? But it hasn't happened. And it hasn't happened. It really hasn't happened. Like he still blames me. And and I just have to accept it. I just have to accept it without expectations and be okay with it and take this as proof that I maybe made the right choice. Really. Um, so aside from these things, I am having a full life in Braga, where I also started a local project, which is a community project. And it's based on regeneration. It's actually it's basically eco-dharma outside eco-dharma in a way. It's like regenerative everything, working with the environment team at the municipality, helping them with some events, but also pushing them to help me with my events, which is like this local market I have every week, every month, and the conference that we did. It was beautiful. It was amazing. I cannot believe that we actually did it with no money, really. Um, I did it in collaboration with the Plant-Based Treaty, Portugal, the Portuguese chapter. So I became friends with the head of it, no Santos, who is really quite an amazing individual who did a lot of things, like a lot of activism, in a way that is different to what I do. My form of activism is really feeding people amazing food and showing them that plant-based food is amazing, because here in Portugal is really boring. Uh, so it's the same. Um, it will maybe change, but that's my love language as well, food. And then, creating this market where like it's about community. And honestly, yesterday we had a market. I was so disappointed about the fact that we didn't have a lot of visitors up until the afternoon, um, because everybody was at the mall. And we should have been, being the last Christmas market where like you can go and do last minute shopping, but also you can buy from local people. There are art and crafts and beautiful things that are created, instead of going to a big shop and buy what everybody else is buying. Also supporting these big corporations who don't care about the planet, not care about animals, don't even care about humans. I talk about fashion a lot, fast fashion a lot. I go to schools and educate kids about fast fashion. And I really wonder if any of these children have learned anything, because none of them showed up at the market. I'm sure they went to the mall. And I know it takes a lot of time to change mentalities, and that's okay, because I feel like patience pays off eventually. But it's definitely something like when you see people behave in a certain way, and I'm like, come on, you can do better than this. Um, so there's a lot of work to do. Equally, I'm working on my app, new website, new branding, Cycle Wellness, which is why the podcast is called Cycle Wellness. And I'm not a tech person. I wasn't exposed to tech, and quite honestly, my brain's full because I have too much medicine, like holistic and allopathic things to learn. Now that I'm working with hormones, like there's so much to learn. Like people don't appreciate how much there is to learn, and also how many things were not known before that we have to learn from scratch. And also, if you want to be a good practitioner, you just have to always study. And so, who has the time to learn about tech? But I'm learning a little bit, and trying, and I have to seek for help, right? And I also have limited hours to give to this company, to work with this company. And so it's a tricky one, because my life is, I still see my clients, I still organize the retreats, I still have to work on my things. My passion is, naturopathy and nutrition. And well, nutrition is part of naturopathy, but um, that's my passion. I still do yoga classes twice a week. I also have to look after myself. Like one of the things that became really important to me when I got better, when I was getting better, is that make time for you. You go into the gym, you go into the sauna, you look after yourself, you eat well, then everything else. Because if I am not looking after myself, it's crazy what happens. The next episode, we will talk about amenorrhea, and this is actually an episode that I'm going to also record for Cycles Wellness, because it is something that I'm going through. I did all my blood work. It doesn't look like I am in menopause from the blood results. It just shows that I'm having hypothalamic amenorrhea, and this is because the stress of the summer, maybe from last year, it just escalated in June, May, June. And I dropped so much weight without even trying. I haven't changed the way I eat. I just dropped all this weight. And I lost my period. And I am not getting it back. I'm struggling to get it back. I'm taking some natural things for it. But yeah, so I've gone through it, and I learned that if I don't look after myself first, these things happen. So I'm trying to reverse it, and that's not easy, especially when I'm used to eating in a certain way and hitting certain amount of calories. And so it is what it is. I'm not going to push myself to eat more than I can handle. Um, and I honestly eat the same things. Like I haven't reduced anything. Like I hit my macros, for the most part. I mean, some days it's a bit less, but because I'm running around, but I still make sure that I have my meals, I have my fruit and my veg, and that's really the bulk of my food. So it's interesting. But yeah, I feel like that was a massive lesson. And so, there's just so many hours in the day and you have to do so many things. So I'm channeling to work towards creating something that can allow me to serve more women, not just a one-to-one, because one-to-ones are tiring and very limited. And I also have some amazing cases right now, actually. I'm working with people that are so highly inflamed from childhood. And they didn't even realize, of course, they had pain and they suffering, but they learn not to live with the suffering, which actually makes you quite uh, deaf to how you feel. So that's happened to them. And I'm like, this is not normal. Like, let's work together. And I see the improvement in these women, and it's amazing. And of course, it's a challenging thing to balance this going into a deep, deep, deep healing versus wanting to have what you always had, like food that makes you happy, that triggers memories. And I have a client that just couldn't, that she couldn't do it properly. She thought this would be like a quick fix, short term, mixing it with a million other protocols on top of it, which is just the way that just it's the way we go wrong. Um, but again, you have to meet people where they're at, and I'm like, okay, well, I gave you the tools, now you know, and use them as much as you can. But the truth is, unless you commit, like I committed to yourself, to getting healthy, to reversing a disease. I reversed type 2 diabetes because I committed to it like there was nothing else. Because for the first time in my life, I was like, I am not going to get sick and then depend on a medical system or my doctor or even Kyle for the rest of my life. Because I actually started seeing already what it means not to have that freedom of independence, and I started craving it. In London, I saw it. I didn't see it because I was working for myself. I was making a bigger salary. Yeah, I couldn't save money when I was working as a yoga teacher because I was spending everything for us. Like I was buying food, uh, I was buying supplements, I was covering some bills at home. Um, but that was never appreciated. Apparently, it looks like I didn't do enough. So, I wasn't saving anything. I was just really, yeah, basically going paycheck by paycheck. So, leaving banking was definitely different. But at the same time, when when we came here, I couldn't make a full salary from my work because I was on a mountain, and I think energetically, because that farm took everything from me. This is why I started focusing on rescuing dogs, really, if you ask me, because like they were my sanity. Um, but because I didn't have a community, I didn't have my people, I couldn't carry on my work, and that was never appreciated. But I years on and I look back and I'm like, well, I see why I had to focus on myself and heal myself. And so when my clients don't commit to themselves, I always tell them, look, if you don't commit, nothing is going to happen. Like, it's just the truth. I'm not trying to be horrible. I make nothing out of it. You're working with me already. So if you fail, it's on you. Like I always say from the beginning, I am the co-pilot. You are driving this car, and you can drive this car on a nice, beautiful road, or you can go on a rocky road, then maybe even goes down the cliff. It's on you because you know the protocol. I'm sharing it with you. Do it. So, but I also love working with cases that are so difficult because when you see, I have someone that is like, honestly, she's amazing because she does complain, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, but she does it without fail, and she sees the results, and I'm like, you see, it needs to become I don't want to have that food because I feel so good when I don't have it. Look at my symptoms and not here. That's what I want to live a life where I don't have pain. This is what it's all about. So aside from these projects, which are many, then of course, again, it's having a life and still healing and trying to really learn as much as I can about myself, more about myself. Like I think, I talked about the dark night of the soul in an episode with my friend, um, and on her podcast, which I would put below so you can listen to it. Because right now the title escapes me, but it is. So it's with Kate Galley, but I don't remember the podcast name. But I mentioned the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul is what prompts you to make a change, which actually really stares you in the face and tells you, you know what, you're not doing what is your soul's purpose. And by the way, since then I started again studying Kabbalah, and oh God, of course I felt so many things were out of place because yeah, it's true that your soul calls you and tells you you're on track or you're not. And we are so good at not listening. We are so good and not following and not paying attention and not committing because it's scary, because it means we have to go against everything and everyone. There is a change of the guard in our soul when we in our life when we listen to our soul, and not probably even in the soul, because again we that is very complicated here, but anyway, there are multifaceted parts of the soul. But you know where your potential is. You know where if you want a reality, you have to work towards the reality. This is actually equally important and true for things like manifestation. People are they think they can just sit on the couch and manifest, um, but or just do the same thing and manifest. But nothing changes if you don't change. Um, to bring change, you have to be the first thing that changes. And the truth is, you need to trust that everything will be amazing and everything will be fine and everything will be okay, and not live in fear, which a lot of us do. And I have learned to really be pragmatic about things. I will stand up for myself, of course, and I will demand certain things now because hell no, why, like, enough of being taken advantage of. But and what is right is right. But I still want to keep, a level of decency and not take advantage of other people either. And so we have to be balanced in that way. So anyway, this is a little summary of everything that has been going on in my life, which is also why I decided to take a bit of break from recording. Um, and now I'm ready to come back. I am working on the lineup of speakers, so reaching out to them and inviting them on Cycles Wellness, on the Green Life. Some episodes I think they will be on both channels, um, because it will make life easier. Number one, not gonna lie, not gonna cushion this. Makes life easier for me to have the same episodes on both. But also the audiences are different. The male, my male audience won't go necessarily to Cycle Oneness to listen to everything we have to talk about. Although I invite you gentlemen to go, because the more you know about women, the better. But I know that maybe you don't want to listen about, to talks about, I don't know, mastectomies, hysterectomies, and period pain, and perimenopausal symptoms. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It would be really good for you to know, but you know, but on the Green Life here, some episodes would be relevant, and you have a choice then to listen to it or not. So I'm putting it here actually also to make sure that the gents listen and learn, so that we can all be happier. I can tell you something. If we learn about women, as in if you men learn about women, you could prevent a lot of divorces. So if you like being married and you love your wife, then maybe learn about her. More women leave men than men women in our 40s and onwards. So mostly in our 40s, because that's when like the dark night of the soul really swings. That sorted us. But yeah, so you can prevent it. And the truth is this, when it comes to relationships failing, it's not that there is a massive problem and a fight and an argument. Sometimes there is nothing but monotony. And it's that not being seen, not being heard, not having quality time, only having quality time when you actually go out and do something together, instead of having quality time purposefully at home where you are a priority. Women, we feel like we are not priority a lot of times when we walk out of relationships. That's how I felt. I felt like I wasn't seen. I wasn't, like, literally, I wasn't seen. So it's impossible for me to be the best, best version of me when I feel like I'm basically see-through. I'm transparent. I'm I'm non-existent. I'm ghost. So that is just really, really harsh. And I think Men don't see it. And sometimes they really don't see it. They don't see it because they're not equipped to see it. So it goes by, and then what happened? Why this relationship finished? What happened? Why did it all crumble down? And and I think it's painful, for everybody involved. This is not, even if I left the relationship and I was the first one to make a call on it, it wasn't, it's not painless, It wasn't painless. It's not painless even now. It's there's also like there's still that, is it really so hard to fix this? Is it really impossible to fix this? Is it really impossible that that person just doesn't want to meet you halfway? Like, is it really that hard? And seems like it is. So uh what, how many conversations can you have? Like, I really would love for a haha moment to happen and be like, oh my God, let's just, you know what, let's talk about it. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I should change something. No, it's now we are in the realm of, if it doesn't just happen naturally and the energy is not right, then that's it. We are in the realm of, I don't want to take responsibility, let's just put it on the rug. And when I see that happen, I'm just like, well, this is not about me, because this will happen again with someone else later, even if that person right now thinks that, nope, that's just energy. It's so much more complicated than that. It's so nuisance. Like, everything is so nuisance. When we don't have conversations with nuisance, we miss the bigger picture. And I see this happen over and over and over again. So I wanted to share this. I hope this wasn't too boring. I just gave you a recap. I know there is not a lot of um I guess not a lot of news that are, I mean, there are so many, but I don't want to make this a very long episode. What I want to do is actually then structure each episode with a proper focus, and go deep into it, and not make it just about me either. But I want to do more solo episodes, but I also want to do more solo episodes about different topics. So I want to talk about our impact on the planet. I want to talk about um how we change things in society. I want to talk about, for the eco-friendly warriors out there that are not vegan yet, like, let's talk about this, right? And I want to talk about fast fashion. I want to talk about our health. I want to, obviously, we will be talking to experts. We're going to invite amazing doctors on um, for episodes on the new books that are launching. So Dr. B is going to be invited because he launched a new book. Dr. Clapper, Michael Clapper, is just releasing his book as well. So we're going to be having him hopefully on. So there is a lot to do. Dr. Dawn Musalim, I actually want to talk to her. She's an amazing friend. I want to talk to her about two episodes. I want to talk to her about one for this podcast, and then for Cycles Wellness, that is focused just on women and health, mostly cancer. She works in oncology, and truly, truly, truly dive into deeper conversations with amazing people that are doing amazing things. So guys, I really just hope you have the most wonderful time. I know it's holidays now, so have a great season with your loved ones and friends. I don't celebrate Christmas. I mentioned this before. It's very complicated again. It's like, it's not what it seems, but I do appreciate, I celebrate solstice, which is today, and I really meditated on creating more space for light to come in, and I posted this on social media as well. It is the shortest day of the year, but at the same time, from tomorrow on, the days get longer, and it is a way to make room for light to come in space, because now winter has a sense of emptiness, right? And space. Things of the leaves have fallen, and things look quieter, and the light is dimmer. And I feel that that's just room for cleansing and space so that we can rebirth again um, in March. So this is how I'm looking at it. So I hope you like the analogy, but so I celebrated this, and then, Christmas is, I just think it's nice to come together with people and have dinner maybe, and come together, because um it is a day where you can enjoy spending some time with people in your life, because nobody's working. So everybody's off, and so you can come together. The consumerism of it, we're gonna have to talk about that. I mentioned how disappointing it was to see people just go to the mall and buy crazy, stupid things instead of actually supporting local things. So the whole businesses and creators and arts and crafts. So we definitely have to talk about this consumerism part. But and a lot of people see it, but a lot of people don't see it. And what we can do about it. Because look, society has to change. We have to change. And there are two ways. We're gonna change through forced change by having things just happen. We're gonna change through AI because they're taking over everything. Or we're gonna change because we're gonna create purposeful communities where no machine can do that and no politician can do that. It's all up to us. Can we be not selfish and do it? That's the bigger question. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave you with this question. So if you like this episode, please share it. Please comment. Please share your questions. Don't be afraid. And let's talk about more things. I want to also talk about some other podcasts that I've been listening to that have covered headlines and where I feel that we are good and we're not. I want to talk about one of specific episodes from Diary of a CEO about ketogenic diets. We're going to talk about that for sure. The truth, not the truth. Is it a diet? Is it a protocol? Let's talk about it in the next video, in the next podcast episode. And yeah, I look forward to connecting with you again. Please do share. Please do share. Just make sure that you allow me to grow, because then I can invite more amazing people. You will not believe how many speakers say that they will not come unless you have a minimum amount. It's crazy. And I only have 600 followers on YouTube, on my podcasting channel, and then maybe like 30,000 on podcast platforms. So they want 100,000 upwards, sometimes really good names. I understand why they're busy, but at the same time it's like, well, if you came on, we could grow faster too. Just saying. Anyway, I will be sharing more, and with this I will also share all the new affiliations. I'm still working on them, so for now I will just post them in the notes. I haven't done the introduction as I usually do, because I want to just organize who the affiliates are and who the sponsors for the podcast are. All right, my loves, I'll see you soon. Bye.